Welcome to Graceful Art Designs. This is my last intentional pour in this colour scheme. I've actually done 5 of them, but the first one I did on a circular canvas, and you may have seen that video by now. I completely deleted it in the end because I loved the way it blew out originally, but then I didn't like the way it looked once I had painted around it. So now I'm doing almost the same one again, except this time it's on a square canvas. 30 by 30 centimeters, and in that one I used pearlescent yellow, which turns to gold once it's dry, whereas in this one I'm going to be using pearlescent white, so that's going to make a difference. And if I do paint it away, as opposed to making marks, then I will do it differently to the way I did that painting. Because I now have an extra red, extra 2 reds, which I didn't have then. So as you can see, I'm just tilting it to get the full coverage, but I need both hands to do that. So what I do is I just turn it around from side to side. Instead of using the spatula, this just gives a smoother spread, Charlotte, if I can put it that way. And you just have to watch it that you get to all the corners. And it's difficult when it's white, but when it's a dark colour like this, you can see where you're going a bit better. So if it runs off, I'll let it just run back into the container. I do want it to cover all the edges. So I'm going to put the phone down now. Canvas is covered now, as you can see, nicely and evenly. And I'm going to start with the red. So the thing that I didn't like with the previous painting, which I used for something else, is that the gold plus the yellow pearlescent was too much gold, and then I painted a rose with gold as well. So then there was really way too much gold in the end. Then I tried to remove some of that, which I did, and it looked okay, but it wasn't what I wanted. So this one's going to be different, but I need to use both hands to put the colours down. I'm going to put little puddles again of colour, and I'll tell you more when I've done that. The order of the colours I've put down is the red, the opaque red, then the permanent red violet, and then gold, and then the red again, the opaque red, it's a cadmium red, and then the pearlescent white. So it almost looks like a butterfly, as it is right now, or a bee, or anything you want to see. I'm going to blow them out like that and see what that looks like, and then decide whether to keep it as a flower or what I'm going to do with it. But I just need to get my hairdryer, and this time I'm going to use the hairdryer without the nozzle. So using the hairdryer without the nozzle, I'm going to get a different result. Hopefully a nice result, because everything you do, makes a difference, whether you use a straw or a hairdryer or the width of the nozzle of the hairdryer. It all makes a difference, as well as the power. So I'm going to start on the lowest power just to see how that works with these puddles. It usually works well, but not always. Sometimes the paint just doesn't move. The paints were blowing nicely, except for the pearlescent paint. It just wasn't moving. And then I turned it on full blast, and then obviously it kind of messed up my colours here a bit. So I'm going to try and do the rest with a straw. In the first painting I didn't put the pearlescent down like this. I swiped with it, but in the other paintings I've done it and it's been okay. So I don't know why this is not moving. So that breaks it up a bit better. Pity that this had to bring out all the blue. But I'm going to just leave it like that, because otherwise I tend to get carried away, and then I mess up my original design. I carried on using the straw and doing a second layer of petals around the inner layer, But I think it's going to move. It's not going to stay like that. But I just thought I'd just, when I could, because these colours are so pretty. The red and blue go together so well. And so does the pearlescent white and the gold. Well, the gold actually, it just seems to disappear into the blue. Although I put down plenty of gold, but I can hardly see any of it right now. There's a spot, but maybe it'll come through once it's dried, as it has done in some of the other paintings. But then none of them are really dry enough for me to say for sure. But I do love the cells and lacing and just the combination generally. There's a bubble there. Oh no, something that needs to be removed. The paint is not dripping. My paintings don't often drip very much because I don't use a lot of paint on the base. Because I tilt it and I pour most of the base off. So there isn't a lot of paint flowing down afterwards. But sometimes they do move. It just depends on how much of the other colours I add on. But now I've blown most of them off. They reach almost to the edges in most places, but I'm not going to blow any further because I can't actually get there with my mouth to make this one match that one. But they don't have to be perfect, and I'm going to just shape it into a rose because it just looks so much like a rose. Or it could be a big poppy, or it could be a petunia. I think I'm going to just go for a rose because it's got this lovely centre. And I hate to disturb it though. Always torn between what to do. But I think I should do this one before it sets, so I can just sort of shape the outer petals in. I'm not going to do a lot of layers, just start with, let's see, which part should I keep as the center? So that's a good part, I think. It's not that easy with the stick. No, I don't think it's going to hold. It's too wet still. Let's see if that will hold. That's my outline. I don't know how much of it is visible and how much of it I will see by tomorrow. But I'll try to remember where the marks are if I can't see them. And then I will outline them with a darker red, a deeper darker red. So I think it really is the perfect rose. Lots of different layers and colours and depth. And the pearlescent is going to really shine very nicely. So, and hopefully some of the gold will come through as well. If not, the colour, but just the sheen that it should give mixed with the pearlescent. It should give a lovely sheen. So I'll bring you back when it's dry. The marks on the painting actually held. It dried very nicely. But I'm going to outline where I put the marks in red because I do want to have some more depth to the painting and some more indication that it's a rose. Although you can see the rose outline. But I think it'll still look better if I add colour there. So that's what I'm going to do. Starting with there, because I touched that by accident. And it wasn't completely dry. It is dry. I mean, it's dry now, but it wasn't this morning when I touched it. So I just have to be careful that I don't paint where there are no lines, and then I do paint where there are lines. Sometimes, like that looks like a line, but it's not. It's actually just part of the blowout where that's how the paint moved with the pearlescent. So I hope this will be deep enough red, because it's a mixture of two reds. It's not the deepest, it's not the most opaque red. It's a mixture of opaque and transparent. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. That looks like it's right. But I don't want it to just be straight in a straight line. I want it to be soft so that it blends into the painting. No, my kitty. So in some places it's hard to say whether it's a line, whether the paint moved, whether that was my mark that I made, or whether that's just a line in the painting naturally. I have to feel them. Like there I can't feel nothing, although it looks like a line. There I can feel a little something, but I'm not sure. And also I have to have the painting flat on the countertop, because you can't have it upright in case the paint runs down, because I'm using the same paint that I used to pour out the painting with. Oh, I don't want to really do the outer layer. There I haven't done the outer petals because they already form enough of a natural border with the blue. And the same there, but there they kind of blend together, whereas here there is a natural mark. I didn't make any marks around there. I don't recall making a mark here either. I think it's just the pearlescent has made a mark there. There's no mark, so I wouldn't have... Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, there does need to be something over here. And it doesn't look nice while it's wet, I must say it doesn't. But once it's dried, it does blend in quite harmoniously. And you can see like here, the red and the blue, and there's mauve, and there's lots of mauve in there as well. That's permanent red violet, which up there as well, which I call violet, but anyway, I don't know where the permanent red comes from. I can't see any in it. But here again, it seems like I'll have to make a layer here. Then I'll have to make layers all over. So maybe I should just leave it for a bit and have a look at it when it's dry as it is, and then see if I really do need to add more. That's how the rose has dried, and to be honest, I'm not really enamored with it. I'm not sure if I should have outlined it in the pearlescent rather. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this fan brush and I'm going to add a little pearlescent to the edges, and then a little red a violet to the center, and a little pearlescent to the edges, and I'm going to mix that in around the outlines and see if that improves the overall look. If that doesn't improve it, then I may redo it the same outline but in oil, because I think oil might look better. So this is how it's turning out with the mixture of pearlescent red violet and the the red violet and the pearlescent white mixture, and it looks much more natural now. I'm liking it a lot more, and so hopefully it will dry nicely and I'll be able to leave it like that. I think the red was just a bit too strong. So after just tapping it on with the brush, I'm now going back and actually painting it in so that it forms part of the other colours. And just dragging it in a little bit more. I must say I'm really amazed at how much pearlescent is showing. Although it looks much better now, much softer. I use the fan brush to just sort of lightly brush over it in feathery marks. And I'll just leave it now and see how it dries. I'm not sure I'll leave it like that. I'm not sure it's my favourite rose. It may turn out to be once it's dry. But I'm still not liking this big blob of pearlescent there. Maybe I need to add another touch of the violet and red mixture there. Yeah, I added a bit more violet and red there, and so that just softened that intensity of the pearlescent a bit there. I think that looks better. So now I was just waiting for it to dry and seeing if it's satisfactory. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll leave a photo at the end.